Hey guys, hope you're all having a great day. So I have two plants right in front of me that we just planted a couple of weeks ago, and I wanted to go over these incredible plants because I feel like they are a great solution for a rather interesting problem that you might have in certain parts of your garden. And I just want to talk about how great this plant is. So a lot of people have a hard time filling up shady areas in their garden because so many plants want full sun. There's other plants that are in here that can tolerate quite a bit of shade, and where I am located right now, the north side of the house is right on the other side of this fence right here. And there's also a very large yew that is behind this fence as well, which will be coming down soon. But even with that, this area in this corner gets quite a bit shaded from the sun during the daytime, just from the house and from other trees that are around the neighborhood. So we want to look for more shady plants that can tolerate maybe 2 or 3 hours of sun a day, even less than that. And Astilbe is a really great option besides maybe some hostas, ferns, brunnera, other options like that. More traditional varieties of Astilbe probably only get maybe around 1.5 feet, 2 feet tall at the most, so not incredibly tall. In fact, most shade plants don't really get very tall, more than 1 foot or 2 feet tall, unless you're talking about some bigger hostas, which those can get maybe about 3 feet tall for the largest varieties. And then besides that, everything else is small or even a ground cover. However, this variety of Astilbe, it's called Mighty Pip, is a really great option if you have shady areas and you want some height. This isn't always the easiest variety to find, but if you can find it, then absolutely grab it when you're there. If not, then you can always ask your local garden center to see if they can carry that at their location, so that way you and other gardeners can put this in your garden. Just some quick information on this plant. It can grow in zones 3 through 8, so a pretty wide variety. It's pretty cold hardy actually for this Astilbe. The size is what's most interesting about this plant. The foliage can grow up to about 2 feet tall and then 40 to 48 inches wide. So it actually takes up quite a large area horizontally. However, the plumes can get up to 50 inches tall, which is really crazy. Right behind me is a 6-foot fence, so these are actually going to get to be to almost that point, not quite that height, but still pretty tall for this shady location. The leaves themselves, again, they only get about 2 feet tall, so they're not the part of the plant that gets that, like all that height, but the plumes that you get in probably late spring through the summer, that's where you're really going to see some of the height. These, since we just planted them, one of them looks a little off, I would say. Some of the plumes are falling over a little bit, but it's just because it's its first year in the ground. It hasn't grown up from the ground this year, and that is how Astilbe will grow. You can leave it in the winter time for some winter structure, but you want to cut it back almost to the ground in the late winter, early spring, and then it'll grow up from this point. And when you do plant it, make sure you water it in well for that first season as it's developing its roots, and then you should be fine after that point. The Mighty Pip has these really beautiful pink plumes on the top of it. I'm honestly not entirely sure if there are other varieties that get quite as large and if you can get other colors with them, but in a shady spot, the pink really does stand out, especially in this area that we have over here. There's not really any other colors going on right now in terms of flowers for this time of year. The brunnera blooms in the springtime, same thing as the lungwort that's on the other side, and we don't really have any other blooms, so the Astilbe adds in some really great interest for this time of year. And those blooms will last through a frost, which is really awesome to have a plant like this. So I hope this video was informational and can help fill some gaps in maybe some shady places in your garden. The only other thing I would recommend for a shady location would be maybe some taller varieties of hosta or ferns if you can find them. But these are really awesome because they send out some really cool bloom spikes. So besides that, I hope you guys liked this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down in the comment section down below, and I will see you in the next video.